It is Thursday, the 6th day of January 2022. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching My Media, Prime Television. This is Prime News, and we're beaming live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. My name is Fon Quinter. The news starts now. Leaders of civil society organizations met in Douala today to denounce what they term robbery of civil society and freedom of association in Cameroon. They say the finance law of 2022, adopted by Parliament during the November 2021 session on the one hand, and the communique of the Director General of Taxation of December 15, 2021 relating to the tax regime of non-profit organization and the promulgation of finance law of 2021/026 of December 16, 2021 on the other hand, and the promise of section 93 of the said finance law constitute a real threat to the civil society in particular. Let's now listen to Metro Aliscom.
You and me know that the economic and social environment in Cameroon today is very, very bleak, very bad. Money is finished. And you know the situation of our bad governance in terms of public money. So I feel that now Cameroon is maybe knowing that this war is a big hole for money. It is public, the state has no longer enough money to do his job vis-a-vis their population, because everybody knew that from 2018, around the period of presidential election, they spent a lot of money to campaign, to corrupt. Remember the situation of computers in university. This money was coming from the national treasure, lost. And then we have had the preparation of this African, what French people are la canne. And they spent a lot of money, more than they had to pay. And this money didn't go back to the state treasury. It went outside in private pockets. And you also know the other scandal, financial scandal of COVID, where IMF gave 180 billion to Cameroon to help Cameroon secure his population vis-a-vis this pandemic. Everybody know that this money never served for the right purposes.
That was Metro Alice Gomez speaking shortly after today's meeting to the microphone of Lasha Kingsley. Onto something else, a gang of 5 suspected bandits accused of being responsible for insecurity that reigns in Bafoussam in the west region of Cameroon have been intercepted by elements of the Bafoussam Judicial Police. They were arrested after the police launched a search operation on December 24, 2021. Get full details right ahead. Population of Bafoussam in the west region of Cameroon can now heave sighs of relief after the arrest of 5 suspected bandits aged between 19 to 29 years. Following numerous cases of armed attacks perpetrated within Bafoussam, elements of the Bafoussam Judicial Police launched an operation on December 24, which led to the arrest of the 5 suspects, including the gang leader.
La brigade anti-criminalité de la division régionale de la police judiciaire de l'Ouest est tombé sur un gang de...
The anti-criminal unit of the West Regional Judicial Police fell on a group of bandits led by Touché. The group for a while has been giving sleepless nights to the population. I can assure you that since the police laid hands on them, the city is quiet.
On a stoppé ce groupe, la population ne cesse d'applaudir et vivre en toute quiétude.
These suspects, accused of being responsible for the insecurity that reigns in Bafoussam, were arrested alongside 3 motorcycles they used in carrying out their operation. According to law enforcement officials, these suspects are specialized in breaking into homes and business sites, making away with valuables. At present time, they are under custody at the Bafoussam Judicial Police Post for further investigation. The over 11-kilometer Yaoundé-Simalen motorway is now open to the public. This was during a ceremony yesterday, January 5, chaired by Cameroon's Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Celestine Kecha. Catherine Okongwe completes the story.
Thanks to the newly constructed Yaoundé-Simalen motorway, participating teams traveling to Cameroon for the African Cup of Nations have been having a smooth ride from the Simalen International Airport to the capital city, Yaoundé. The motor highway was opened to the public since Wednesday, January 5, 2022, in a ceremony chaired by Cameroon's Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Celestine Kecha, accompanied by the Minister of Transport, Jean-Enes Gale-Bibehe. The ceremony, which began with an ecumenical service and has been attended by Cameroonians, especially as the locals massively turned out to witness the official opening of the event by the Housing and Urban Development Minister. The motorway will facilitate traffic flow in the city, especially for Group A and C teams that will be lodged in Cameroon's capital city, Yaoundé. Prior to the opening of the motorway, the minister cautions the locals to adopt responsible and prudent behaviors and advise inhabitants of the Yaoundé 3 and 4 division to ensure that kids stay away from the motorway.
I've told them that highway, motorway is not urban way. It's not urban road. Please do not cross above and jump on the highway. It's very dangerous for you as well as for the vehicle coming on this, because when people came on this road, they know that it's highway. They're not supposed to see people on the highway. They're not supposed to see car parking on the highway. They should thank the head of state by keeping it safe.
The motorway construction project, which began since 2015, has only seen completion this year.
On today's feature page, we focused on milers, a sector appreciated by many. Though many appreciate the services of milers within local communities, their presence have its own effect, especially on the health. Bokengo Wadi with details.
A miller is someone who grinds wheat and corn into flour using a milling machine. Though this act has become a profitable profession, the job involves deafening noise from machine for at least 8 hours daily, inhaling dust and flour, lack of space and fresh breathing air, and many more, which adds up as challenges faced by those in this profession. I have been doing this business for 20 years. Though the job contains risks such as constant noise, one can cut their fingers, and many other natural and electrical accidents, it is important to rest well when one returns home.
Je voulais dire que le travail des meuniers est un travail très rémunérateur, mais il y a beaucoup de risques liés à ça.
I wish to say the work of a miller is a profitable one. However, there are a lot of disadvantages to the job. We have the after effects of the machine noise. Here we have 4 machines, and when they are all on, the noise is terrible. Sometimes we don't feel it. We only get to feel the impact when we return home, and it's like someone is beating drums in our head. But still, there is the flour, which makes it difficult for us to breathe as the air is mostly filled with flour.
Nous respirons très difficilement parce que nous aspirons Et donc, nous sommes en train d'aspirer la farine.
Being consoled by the daily income, many millers ignore the repercussions of their business to their health, which include a list of respiratory illnesses such as cough.
The person who is involved in using the grinding mill every day tends to be exposed to dust particles, little particles of flour, which get into their respiratory tract and cause them illnesses. First off, we would think of cough, which is the basic illness, which would have to deal with upper respiratory tract infections. But this can aggravate to lower respiratory tract infections also, which would end up exposing the patient to more illnesses and further or more complicated situations.
Nonetheless, according to Dr. Bruna Njeba, these hazards can be managed.
If you're able to wear a mask while you carry your daily activities of grinding, and even for those who stroll on the road every day in dusty areas, wearing a mask would protect your nostrils at the same time your mouth from being able to receive the dust particles which you get into your lungs. When you do that, it helps you most. The next thing we would think about is even the area or the spaces where they do the grinding. If they could be able to do it in open air areas where the amount of dust which they'll inhale will reduce. Clean environments. Most of the time when the dust particles settle or get into the room area, we leave it there and we move out, and the next day we come and just continue.
It is worth mentioning that corn flour is a rich source of fiber, protein, iron, potassium, B vitamins, starch, and other minerals. Millers to this effect put their lives at risk every day, making sure that they contribute to the diet of the average Cameroonian, as well as reduce unemployment, theft for some youth in the country.
After announcing the creation of 3 state universities in the East, South and North regions, President Paul Biya seals off with the signing of a decree. For this purpose, Nolinga with details.
President Paul Biya matches words with action by signing a decree to create 3 state universities in the cities of Betua, East Region, Bolova, South, and Garwa, North Region of Cameroon. On December 31, 2021, the President of the Republic, during his traditional end-of-year address to the nation, made public the declaration, and this is how the inhabitants of the said regions received the New Year's gift from the head of state.
It put the university closer to those who do not have enough means to send their children to Yaoundé, to Bamenda, to Boya, etc. The university is the place to be and the place to be formed and transformed so that you can help your country to move.
While signing this decree may mean an attempt to resolving an appearance of injustice, given that these were the only 3 regions that were still left out without institutions of public university cycles, by making this decision again, well-trained students from these regions will be birthed with no need for any form of mass exodus after the completion of their high school training programs. Although the total now tallies the existence of 11 state universities in the country upon the creation of the expected 3, many Cameroonians, on the other hand, have taken to social media to decry the creation of more universities which only offer courses on academic and theoretical topics instead of creating polytechnics which focus mainly on applied skill training.
The pioneer mayor of Limbe Council, Mayor Mutanga Andrew Monjimba, is no more. He died Wednesday, January 5, 2022 at the Douala General Hospital after a protracted illness. Choengang completes the story.
Wednesday, January 5, 2022 was a day of great loss to the Limbe City Council. The first city mayor in the history of Limbe, Mayor Mutanga Andrew Monjimba, joined his ancestors at the Douala General Hospital. Close sources to the mayor say he gave up the ghost after a protracted illness. The 64-year-old mayor had been celebrated several for making Limbe one of the best and cleanest cities of Cameroon.
We were not expecting this kind of news at this hour, and considering the state in which we are, I want to say we were very shocked, and as you see, we are very grieved. We've lost an icon. We've lost somebody whom I think nobody will ever dreamt of. We actually want to call on, or actually want to call on all the militants that what has happened, we cannot bear. I just want to pray and ask the Almighty to strengthen us.
Mayor Mutanga Andrew Mujimba reportedly had complications around his throat.
And all the successes in terms of the party activities in Limbe and Kako division, we had all those achievements because of Mutanga and also.
Mayor Mutanga Andrew dies at a time when the Limbe City Council is under fire following the 2022 finance budget. City dwellers hope that his passing will bring peace to the council. Mutanga Mujimba leaves behind his wife, who he married in 2020 after the passing of his first two wives.
The AFCON ecstasy continue as more teams are getting to host country Cameroon, keeping major streets and airports busy. Some teams, including Team Senegal, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and Malawi, amongst others, are already in different cities where they will play their game. Nora Kakebi with AFCON updates.
The heat is on as the AFCON tournament gets to fever pitch. Major airports in Cameroon are busy as various teams make their entry into the country. Teams Senegal and Malawi are already in the country and precisely in Bafoussam in the West region as a hookup for their group games. The Teranga Lions of Senegal arrived Bafoussam last night where they will be playing their games. Apart from the above-mentioned teams, Cape Verdean national squad also made its entry recently and are chilling in the nation's capital ahead of the Total Energies AFCON. The team is paired in Group A alongside Cameroon, Ethiopia, as well as Burkina Faso. Moving on to the north region of Cameroon, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, as well as Team Guinea-Bissau, are all acclimatizing ahead of the kickoff. Guinea-Bissau is all paired in the same group as Egypt, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria. Conspicuously absent from Team Nigeria is striker Odion Igalo, and no reasons have been advanced yet for his absence. As the AFCON tournament gathers more steam with teams making their entry, businessmen and women think business and how to boost the economy. We thought about AFCON and designed this fabric, and we even have already sewn shirts with the AFCON logo, and there's a van which goes around to deliver to those who want. Just 3 days ago and the Lions will roar in den.
For our African news, Eileen Sama made a tour of the continent, stopping over in Nigeria, Mali, Niger, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. She brought back the following.
Let's kick off in Nigeria, where a large fire has ripped through an informal settlement on Wednesday in the commercial capital, Lagos. Smoke and flames could be seen in a Bute melter, an area of sawmills and packed housing along the banks of Lagos Lagoon. According to reports, the fire tore through what is Lagos' largest plank market for several hours before the emergency services reported to the scene. However, no reports of casualties were recorded. In Mali, former Nigerian President and ECOWAS mediator Goodluck Jonathan has met with members of the military junta that has ruled Mali since toppling its elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta in August 2020. Also, the meeting is taking place as the military junta is outlining plans for a return to constitutional order. Nonetheless, the junta had initially announced that they will be holding elections by the end of February 2022, a date later on postponed. While in Niger, the Central Office for the Repression of Illicit Drug Trafficking says a Nigerian mayor and his driver have been arrested by the police for attempting to smuggle 214 kilos of cocaine to Libya. According to the spokesperson of the Central Office for the Representative of Illicit Drug Trafficking, Nana Aishatu Usman Biko, the police were on the trail of a quantity of drugs brought in from Mali, which was about to be transported to Libya. The investigation led to the seizure of 199 bricks of cocaine, weighing a total of 214,635 kilos, in a vehicle belonging to the mayor's office in Fashi, on which the mayor was traveling. Elsewhere in the Democratic Republic of Congo, The Congolese army announced on Wednesday that it had lost 2 soldiers and killed 18 militia men in clashes in the eastern highlands of the country. Major Dieudonné Kaseraka, army representative, said that a unit sent to reinforce the army was ambushed by militia men from the Makanika Twigwaneho coalition near the village of Kagogo in Uvira, Old Plateau of South Kivu. He added that during a fire exchange, the army killed 8 militia men, while 2 soldiers of the armed forces of the DRC fell on the field of honor, and 5 others were seriously wounded.
Eileen Summer's tour on the African continent ends today's edition of Prime News on My Media, Prime Television. My name is Fon Quinter. Coming up at 7 p.m. is Prime Eye with Leonard and his team. We meet again tomorrow for another edition of the news. Have a great evening in the company of more programs on the African Eye. Good night.